Welcome to Om Times TV, a division of Om Times Media and Broadcasting. "95% of our lives are run and created by our subconscious mind programming. Imagine if your subconscious mind is running many negative, disempowering, and self-sabotaging programs. How will that 95% of your life turn out to be? Would you like help to change your subconscious programming into something that works for you and set it to attract and create everything you desire? Join Tamra Oviatt in her show Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer here on Om Times, where she will connect to the source energy and change your subconscious programming by deleting your negative belief systems. Tamra is the founder of Sacred Activations, a subconscious metaprogramming modality that rewires your brain and shifts hundreds of your belief systems so you can break away from lack, pain, and suffering and take control of what you want to create in your life. Tamra has helped hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, and she is here to help you too. It's not about fighting what you don't want. It's about creating what you do want. And the only way to do that is to change and upgrade your subconscious programming. Let Tamra help you create magic in your world. Tune in every week at Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Om Times. I'm Ella Isakov and I'm so thrilled to be here. So thank you, Tamra, so much. I am one of the, master practitioners and teachers. I actually hold practitioner teacher trainings. I have the level 1 actually coming up in the fall. And I also have really popular Sacred Activations webinars, and I have a very growing in popularity YouTube, I call it Inside Healing episodes that come out every Friday. Last Friday came out on Releasing Sadness. This week is going to be about your authentic essence. Anyway, a new episode comes out every Friday. So if you want to subscribe, I also give insight and healing, and it's only 10 to 15 minutes. So it's like a little quick burst of healing and energy. And yeah, but you can find all that also on my website, which is just my name, ellaisakov.com. But I'm so thrilled to be here on one of my favorite topics, because not only am I a medical intuitive and an energy healer, but I actually also teach yoga, and I teach only like 5 or 6 classes a week of yoga. But I think I'm the only practitioner that's mixed sacred activations with restorative yoga. So the studio that I teach at actually has really embraced, well, she was actually one of my clients for a bit as well, while she was dealing with some stuff. So I weekly teach restorative yoga infused with sacred activations. So you can only imagine how magical that can be when you're restful and you're opening up the heart and you're just receiving in that state. But that is why today's topic, let's get physical. And somebody already guessed, yes, it's from the Olivia Newton-John song. And if you remember, there's another line, let me hear your body talk. Well, the truth of the matter is your body is always communicating with you, and we are actually often disconnected from our body. We're actually often in our head and way up out there, that usually our mind and body are quite disconnected. So we don't hear our body until it's screaming and yelling, until it's forcing us to take a look. And, as you're going to hear a lot of information today, because I actually talk about this stuff all the time. Even when I teach yoga, I'm always trying to give this kind of wisdom when I do a theme for a yoga practice, because this is what people need. They need that greater awareness of what's going on in their body. And your body is literally like an autobiography of your life, and dare I even say past lives, because your soul keeps moving with you one lifetime to the next. But today you're going to be hearing a lot of information. And please know that I might not say something that you know. And if you look on the website, if you look online, you'll see so much information on this. So what I'm sharing is things that I've learned over the years, and also even things that I have used in my therapy. I'm also a yoga therapist. I'm actually also a Phoenix Rising yoga therapist, even though I don't practice it anymore. And there is a Phoenix Rising sacred activation, which I will run at the end to help you integrate your energies. So basically today is going to be all about the metaphysical, which is really the spiritual reasons why we hold the tension in our body. And generally what we hold is emotions, belief systems, and traumas, which is exactly what sacred activations clears and helps you with. Thousands of belief systems, right? So we can be the authentic being that we are always meant to be. We're always meant to shine so bright, and yet we accumulate. This is like our luggage. If we were to go into the airport, we would be charged so much for overweight and luggage just from all that stuff that we carry in emotions and trauma and belief systems. So as you listen, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but this will really think about what I'm saying, and it will really prep you for the energy where you'll be receiving the sacred activations as well. And in any healing spiritual journey, you always clear first, then you kind of purify, and then you fill with the goodness and the light and all that. So there is a bit of a process to all the themes and to the spiritual journeys in general. Look at this. I'm so good. Yeah, so let me hear your body talk. So I'm going to move through the body parts. I'm going to start with the feet, because the feet are so important. By the way, you know that the right side of your body is your masculine, your yang, your outer world. Your left side of your body, I know this is mirror image for you, but your left, so my left, is my feminine, my yin, and my inner world. So that will also make sense as I move through the other descriptions of all the metaphysical things that we carry as I move through the body parts and areas. I'm even going to tap into the organs, because that's what we do in our sessions as a medical intuitive under the sacred activations bracket. I'm always, basically what I do is I don't just look at the trauma or whatever's going on with the person. I'm actually going to the root, which is usually the belief systems, the traumas, and the low vibration emotions that we carry, right? So feet, gosh, feet is like your connection to the earth, right? How do you walk your path? How do you stand in your truth? How do you stand in your being? How far have you moved away from your authentic truth and how you live? And this is this whole time that I'm talking, there's no judgment. This is insight that maybe you'll have an aha moment here, or that resonates, but there's no judgment. In fact, in the spiritual journey, everything is from love and non-duality, non-judgment. And some people, even starseeds, people that kind of really connected into the starseed family, which I am, but somehow I'm still firmly into there, they find it really hard to even be in the physical human body, in this physical human experience. So the grounding is, even if you are connected but living not in your truth, but also if you are so familiar with a planet, your starseed family. And I have had those clients as well that have come to me. I actually deal with a lot of healers and energy healers in my practice as well. So it's resistance with connecting to the earth, which is really resistance with connecting with the deeper parts of you. You'll see actually quite a common theme as I move through the body parts. So feet and legs can mean two different things as well when you have issues. Besides just not feeling connected to the earth, it could mean that you're not walking a path that is aligned with your true purpose, your higher self, higher good purpose, but it can also mean that you are stuck in some part of your life. So generally, the right side, the masculine, is more the outer world stuff, and the left side is more the inner world, even with those issues, whether we're stuck or walking the wrong path. I want to talk about the knees. So the knees, the knees are pride. The knees are your ego. The knees are where we are so stubborn that we don't want to release into our humility. And then we almost feel like there's no choices, right? Because we're not able to let go. So we hold on tight and it can feel like you're in quicksand. So remember, each body part, the right side, so the right knee will be any kind of resistance to the outer world, right? Or ego or pride, usually internal turmoil, emotional turmoil. The left knee is the external world where we're holding pride, where we're not giving in. So I won't say that again, but just know it's all kind of right and left. By the way, the front body is your future. The back body is your past. So I talk about the knees a lot, and I always wonder about the athletes that always have, you have to have pride and you have to have, so there's a lot of knee issues with professional athletes. And anyway, something to ponder. I didn't read this, but this is something that came through when I was reading about the knees, because you have to have a lot of ego and pride to be a competitive athlete. And what happens when that things start to, when you're no longer that pro athlete. So yeah, so stubbornness is in our knees. And as an athlete, if we can stay on this topic, we are so diligent. Like we have our vision, and sometimes it's a very narrow vision, right? It's gold. Like we want the gold, or we want the championship, we want that number one. And this can be in any part of your life where you have that tunnel vision, right? And it does serve you, but then what happens when the path needs to shift? Because the only constant in life is change. So that's when you kind of feel like you are in quicksand. So then when we move up to the hamstrings, I talk a lot about the hamstrings. So the hamstrings hold your grief. It's stuff from the past. And we see grief as loss of someone. But grief isn't just loss of someone. It's also when we're grieving a change. So imagine those 3 years or 2.5 years when everything stopped for us. Whoa, people just stopped in their tracks. Did people fully grieve all those changes? And one of my favorite books called Resilience, if you want to, it's by a Navy SEAL, but I love that book so much. And he talks a lot about our inability to grieve. And he has this quote, how can we possibly grieve the big stuff when we haven't even been taught how to grieve the little things, like our favorite restaurant closing down, or during those 2 years not being able to walk to our gym for our daily routine. If we can't process those grievances, how can we possibly grieve the big things, the big losses? So we store them in our hamstrings, one of the areas. There's actually a story that this guy was telling me of his friend. His teacher died. And he thought, it's just going on. He thought he grieved it. He went for a massage, and the massage started to massage. And when he got to the hamstring, a few touches, and boom, he burst into tears. And it just, all the grief poured out. And then the quads are fear of the future. Although there's so many meanings for quads, I see quads as the resistance to the future, because we're not really taught how to face the unknown. But really, when we leave little space for the unknown, when we don't plan when we're so masculine, right? Masculine is really controlling, organized, which serves a purpose. But then we need some of the feminine, we need some of that flow. And we're not taught really how to allow some of the unknown. And it's when we allow for some of the unknown that we allow for some magic. Doesn't have to be in the form of unicorns and fairies, but maybe. No comment on my part, but if you know me, then you know that probably it's a good chance there's fairies around right now behind me. There's definitely Arcturians behind me, but that's a whole other thing. Okay. Overwhelm will also cause you to hold back. Frustration, impatience is also something that's held in your quads. So the more mindlessly we live, the more frustration we'll get, the more we'll feel the tension in our quads. The more we'll feel. Have you noticed that the quads often feel tight? Yeah. But this is the important thing. So not only feet, legs, but bones are also your first chakra, as well as your base of your spine. And the first chakra and the bones is your structure. Like, like the structure of a building or a house, just when you have the beams before you even build all the muscles and tissues for us. But for the building, it has all the other things, the walls. The structure is your first chakra. So you need to have that base. The base first chakra is really the first 6 years of your life. So how secure, how was your foundation for the first 6 years of your life? That affects your bones, your feet, your legs, your knees, and the base of your spine. I find this stuff so incredibly fascinating. So hopefully I'm not boring you. The glutes. Have you ever heard of that saying? By the way, all these sayings have truth, all of them. I've ever heard that you're such a pain in the butt. Have you ever heard of that? So the buttocks hold our rage and our anger as well. Same, so does the liver. And I'd say anger and rage is held elsewhere as well. And also suppressed rage is held in our buttocks, and trauma. But trauma is really held everywhere, guys. So I can specify all the specific areas, but I promise you, it's everywhere. Our sacrum is something that's very rarely talked about. And our sacrum, it's all gonna make sense in 1 second. That which is sacred. But this can also stem from past lives. Anytime that we've lost touch with our own divinity, whatever that means for you, so God, whatever you believe, the creator, your deity, when you've lost touch with your divinity, your spiritual path, which probably could be even lifetimes ago, that affects your sacrum. But the sacrum doesn't, the sacrum is a bone, so it may not show in the sacrum, but it will kind of move to the surrounding areas, like the pelvis might tilt, be disjointed. The coccyx, by the way, which is very fascinating. Most people don't have pain there, but I sometimes adjust the coccyx, and it's actually quite painful when I adjust it energetically, even though the client doesn't feel it. But the coccyx is when we live, I would say we live in our story, we live in self-pity. We live in, well, all of the traumas when we live in it is victimhood, but self-pity is really the coccyx. Yeah, divinity. And all of this, when we're fighting it, it stimulates our sympathetic nervous system, which is, do you guys know the parasympathetic is the rest and digest? I call it rest and restore, or the sympathetic is a fight or flight, which is why on any healing path, you want the nervous system to go with, which is what I also say when I teach yoga. That's why you should never force. You should only feel the amount of sensation in your physical body that you can explore with your breath. It's super important. There's so many ways to heal, but do we use those ways mindfully? And then I want to talk about the psoas. So the psoas is known as the muscle of fear, also known as the muscle of the soul. And it's the only muscle that is part of both your upper and lower bodies, right? It attaches to your lowest back rib, touches to your diaphragm, your deep obliques, but then it goes into your adductor muscles, your inner groin. This is what's so fascinating about the psoas. Wait till you guys hear this. It's a very deep muscle. If you've had any trauma, it begins to brace. Even if it doesn't have to be big trauma. If you were in any alert, it could be a car accident, it could be abuse, it could be any kind of trauma where it's braced. Well, guess what? If you don't face that trauma, if you don't process those emotions, it's bracing your whole life or lifetimes. So in short, your nervous system is in fight or flight your whole life. It's bracing. You're on hyper alert. You're always aware. You're reactive because you're always ready for danger, because your psoas is still like, okay, by the way, the kidneys is the organ of fear, and it's also the first organ to respond to fear. I hope this is fascinating for you guys, because I think this stuff is like, oh my God, fascinating. And yeah, so the hips, so the psoas is the deep hip flexor, and then the hips and the glutes, also a second chakra, so survival, sensuality, creativity, but also very much your fear of moving forward. And the right side, your masculine side, is abandonment, criticism, judgment, self-rejection. The left side is betrayal, self-betrayal. Now, so I said I was a Phoenix rising yoga therapist. This is what I heard. I believe it, but you can take it as you want. The right side of the hip, if you have issues, they say it's like the masculine. So it's the daddy issues. Maybe you've had conflict with your father. The left side is if you've had issues with your left side of your hip. It's mommy issues or issues with your mother. Now, there isn't one for both. So if you had issues for both, maybe both hips, but it's very interesting. I won't say which one is for me, but it's very accurate for me. So maybe it is for you as well. The other reason as well is you're imbalanced with your feminine, which is a lot of us women. You know, we've been raised in the masculine world, but remember, both men and women both need a balance of both the divine masculine and feminine. Both of us, both men and women need balance of both. So it's really is quite fascinating. You can just see if it resonates, notice what comes up. The lower back is still survival, it's still your second chakra, but it's really is financial. By the way, Louis Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, talks all about all these ailments and body parts. I don't have that book. I'm more into Caroline Myss, and her books also talk about it. And Caroline Myss I've loved her forever. So I think there was always signs that I was meant to be on this path. And here I am. Lower back is lack of trust, inability to protect. So it's survival mechanisms or support self, guilt, shame, unworthiness. You can see how these low vibration emotions are like stored, like packed into all parts of your body, like extra luggage. But financial stresses and survival, which you can also see in those 2.5 years when I think there was a whole whew with that issue for most people. So the stomach, your center, holds a lot of things, but stagnant emotions is huge. That's what I'm usually clearing from sessions, is stagnant, old, low vibration emotions in your digestion. And have you ever heard of the saying, can't digest life? Can't stomach this? So issues with the stomach is when you can't digest life around you. You're resistant, you're angry, can't process, can't handle life. I've actually had a personal experience with somebody who had this issue and has passed away. But it's really any kind of disease or ailments in the stomach is a lot of old things that we're not willing to release. And it's not easy. It's not easy to let it go either. Yeah. Middle back is, have you heard that saying, get off my back? So it's guilt and stuck in the past is there. But I really want to talk about the upper back and the back of the heart. So grief, sorrow, sadness, the back of the heart. If you're an empath, you're also taking on other people's stuff, like your parents' pain. A lot of kids that had parents that were dealing with stuff, they took things on, even if the parent never shared words. The kids took the pain from the parents just from how we're not even dealing with language at that age when we're young. We're picking up on everything. So picking up emotions and pain from others, but also if you're an empath, the world heart, you're also picking up sadness and pain and suffering from the collective. So all of that is a huge weight to carry when we're holding stuff in the back of the heart. So by the way, things in the front of the heart is, of course, self-betrayal, sadness, self-judgment, but also anytime that you've betrayed yourself. So anytime that you made mistakes and you're holding on to the shame. I've actually pulled out, oftentimes pull out knives from the back and the front of the heart, but they're more like spurs. Maybe they're not like knives, but from the back is from the betrayals. The front is from self stuff, self judgment, self shame. So we're running activation today. What are you carrying? What's dark secret are you carrying from within, from a mistake that has passed that you can't let go of, and you're carrying that shame because it's affecting you. It's affecting your love for you. It's affecting your self-acceptance for you. And then the shoulders is all the burdens, responsibilities, all our titles, mom, sister, coworker, teacher. It's a lot. And now we know we're juggling so much. So the right shoulder is the outer world, the burdens, and the left shoulder is the inner world burdens. So usually emotional pain, suffering, even holding on to traumas. Have you ever heard that saying, carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders? We're, especially if you're an empath, you're carrying so much, not just from your stuff, but also from others. But then we just have so many things we're juggling. And how do we create that balance? And then how do we create that self-care to tend to it? So all this all accumulates as stress, in short. And our to-do lists. Gosh, I have a list on my whiteboard. So how do we manage that overwhelm, that state of overwhelm of burdens? By the way, if you're a caretaker, you're also picking up the pain from them. Yeah, there's so much to say here. Frozen shoulders is when we find really hard to take the response. We're with such overwhelm that we can't even take that responsibility for what's going on around us. I actually know somebody who has 2 frozen shoulders at one time. It's crazy. But your spine in total is, do you feel supported in life? How aligned are you with the support from the outer world? Your neck, your throat is lack of trust, your inability to speak your truth. Have you ever been told, eat your word? Have you heard that saying, eat your words? Or having something shoved down your throat, whether it's an idea or a thought or an emotion. So that's how we lose our divine will. That's how we lose our divine will. Ooh, I might not have time to go into the organs today, but liver holds your anger, resentment, jealousy, competition. Your kidneys is fear, as I mentioned. Your gallbladder is the ability to judge easily, to make choices. Gallbladder and liver work together. Your heart, love, compassion, forgiveness. Oh, so important, guys. When you don't forgive, you're holding on to so much in your body. Oh, you keep yourself in a cell, literally. Your spleen, your stomach and pancreas, anxiety, trust. Your spleen is guilt, responsibility, guilt feelings. And the lungs is your grief and your sadness, really. Wow, so much here. Hopefully that was not an overwhelming information. The eyes, by the way, is when we aren't able to see things from our past, face things. Like I know somebody that's facing their trauma from their past, from what happened when they were 4, but they're still having issues. That's how challenging it is to fully clear and fully see. You don't even have to see what the whole situation, but to fully face the emotions to heal. And that affects your eyes. Anything is the inability to look at the trauma, the emotions, or the belief systems. Wow, I think we're ready for the spiritual. But for now, let's take our little break. Okay, see you in a moment.
Om Times TV. Do you want to go deeper into sacred activations, which is a subconscious metaprogramming process? Tamra Oviatt is inviting you to visit her website at tamraoviatt.com to sign up and get lifetime access to 3 free activations that you can listen to anytime you want or as often as you need. If you like what Tamra does and like to incorporate sacred activations into your life, she also offers live webinars, masterclasses, and practitioners training to further support your healing, manifestations, and expansion. There are hundreds of activations on her website that address different aspects of your life: money, health, relationships, intuitive abilities, and more. Head over to her website at tamraoviatt.com and experience the magic of sacred activations. Thank you for listening. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Om Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Om Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Om Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Om Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Om Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
All right, guys, I think we are ready for the sacred activations to receive. So sit or lay down and go ahead and close your eyes if it feels right in your body. And take a few expansive breaths. Let every exhale bring you deeper into your body. The next exhale, make your way down, down, down through all the layers of the earth till you get to the heart of Mother Earth. If you see a chair or bench, go ahead and sit or lay down. And from that place of grounding, say in your mind or out loud is always better, I am ready to fully accept. Giving yourself that permission is key. As I said in the talk, somebody was already facing their traumas and still the ailment wasn't, there's some part of us that often resists the healing, leaving the familiarity of the pain. And we're going to start with Lord Metatron, which is really about your DNA. And plus, I just love Lord Metatron. I don't know if you guys know, but he's the archangel that did have a human lifetime. So, and so he was a human, like a human experience. But this sacred activation is a sacred geometry for the codes of your DNA. Because remember, the DNA, we want to shift the recording of the DNA from past lives so it's clearer, cleaner, and serves your highest good. And this fine tunes and crystallizes up to 21 strands of your DNA. If you're visual, you may even see Lord Metatron, but he shows up differently for everyone. So it might not look the same for you as it would for me. And you're all being washed over with orange light. That's Lord Metatron. I'm going to add on to that Moses code, which is also a foundation activation. And Moses code, it activates the energetic lines of your tree of life, which is like, whoa. You want to be aligned to that. Rejuvenates the mind and the body, recharges your cells, your cognition, your memory. You begin to feel more vibrant in your being. Wow, what a concept. So Moses Code, Tree of Life, is actually sacred geometry as well. So you may see geometric lines. Cell memory. So remember, the first part of healing is the cleansing, the clearing. And cells and DNA are imperative for that, your healing path to move to your authentic being in your body, free in your physical body. So come bring back the original memory, cleansing in the way. Organ rejuvenation. This sacred activation will go to the organ or organs that need clearing right now of not stagnant, emotions, traumas, belief systems. So you may feel warmth or tingling somewhere in your torso. And I'm going to stack that with Unmasked, which will clear suppressed emotions that are not just clearing, but allowing those suppressed emotions to come to the surface. I'll be quiet for a moment. A lot of livers, a lot of liver. And kidneys. I'm going to stack the next two as well. I am safe and I belong. These are huge two things that we carry in our body that are keeping us hiding. Accept to receive. And if you start to feel like verklempt, like you're about to cry, or let it flow. Please let it flow. It's going to serve you well as a cleansing. Much needed cleansing. Here we go. I am safe. Sacred activation. I belong. Sacred activation. So they're saying that the burdens are here as well. So the burdens are keeping you from feeling safe. Bleeding heart as an empath or family, close people close to you, which have you given parts of yourself away in your caring for them, or just the love for them and in their being with their pain or being supportive? Bring that back. Bring that back to you. Bring all those parts back to you. World heart chakra. So as an empath, you may be, the back of the heart is known as the world heart. And we feel the pain, the suffering, the collective energies. So we're clearing that extra burden from global, the collective. Really allow yourself to receive this healing. You don't have to plug into it to care for what's happening in the world. It doesn't need to reside in your body. Self-forgiveness, sacred activation. Forgive yourself. The shame is the lowest vibration emotion, and it literally eats you up from the inside out. Forgive yourself first, then the capacity to forgive others will flow. Deepest dark secret. Think of a secret that you're holding on to, that maybe a mistake you made or something you're still feeling carrying shame for, a trauma from your childhood nobody else knows but you. Nobody else nobody else to know. But bring up to your surface, bring up to your mind one or two or three of those that you're ready to release. Nobody has to know these, but yet why do we carry them? So it's like self-punishment. All right, deepest dark secret. Ooh. You may have felt yellow light wash through you, or something washed through you if you didn't see the color. Body trauma release. Breathe expansively. A lot is leaving from the center. Your gut. And heart. And shoulders. I'm going to stack the next two. Total body connection and nervous system upgrade. Nervous system upgrade is really essential for the energy integration anyway. So accept to receive. muscle reset and recovery, sacred activation. What I'm seeing is a sweep going through you. Kind of start from the front, like the legs, and went up through the buttocks, and went up through the muscles. So stem cells and telomeres, think of an area that's you feel is aging or causing you pain or discomfort or an injury. Telomeres they're kind of on the DNAs, and they look like shoelaces, but they get shorter as we age. And they also affect the recovery, right? So as I run this, which actually it's already starting to run, think of an area that you want a little bit of repair, healing on. Stem cells and telomeres. While we're on that, joint health, sacred activation, think about a joint that needs healing. Maybe it's the same as the stem cells and telomeres. Maybe it's the same area, maybe it's a different area. Joint health. I mean, I think I went straight to the hips, but I think I feel the shoulders as well. So it seems like a lot. But remember, your ankles are also, and ankles represent like how flexible you are, but life, like how rigid is your thinking about your life or life in general. So focus on a joint. Bone health. What's your structure? What's your foundation? Remember, this is your first chakra. So bone health, sacred activation. I'm going to follow that up with spine health. Remember, spine is the support you feel. Do you feel supported in your life? And supported is not just from the people around you, it's also the universal support. And the last sacred activation is Gaia. Because ultimately, to be connected, to be in your body is to be connected to the depth of Mother Earth. You can't have one really without the other. So closing off with Gaia, and for these few minutes, I'm also just going to run a few energies to help you integrate this. Gaia, sacred activation. And as I run this, they're actually already bringing you down to Mother Earth. So let's do it, because I'm seeing these roots bringing you all the way down to the heart of Mother Earth. So as I run Gaia, bring yourself all the way down to the heart of Mother Earth. They were already doing it. Now, next inhale, bring yourself up to your heart center, your chest cavity, and just take a few breaths expanding in your chest cavity. And repeat these out loud if it feels right for you. I am fully back into my body, fully grounded, supported, and loved. I am fully back into my body, fully grounded, supported, and loved. I am fully back into my body, fully grounded, supported, and loved. Take a few breaths and just washing those words through you. And wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And when you are ready, you may open up your eyes. So these energies will continue to run for several days, a few hours, and a few probably for several weeks. Drink water, self-care, and I'm here if you have any questions at all. Om Times, Tamra, thank you so much again for the opportunity. Much love and appreciation. Bye for now.